How hard would it be to beat Pokemon Emerald if every single time you open a door, it takes you somewhere completely random? And what if, instead of just wanting to find only the Champions Room and beat the game and get the credits, I want to beat all 8 gym leaders, all 4 Elite Four members, the champion, and then find and beat the super boss of Pokemon Emerald, Steven Stone? Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty tough. Actually, I don't want to bury the lead, it's actually really difficult. This is the story of how I beat this challenge and how I employed some clever mathematics to help me out along the way. Let's do this. I recently made a video on doing this exact same challenge in Pokemon Fire Red, and I have a feeling that Emerald is going to be a lot more difficult. After all, Fire Red has the benefit of having Silphco, an area that allows quick traversal of many load zones, complete with an elevator to take you between floors. Emerald doesn't have anything like that. Lily Cove City's department store is the closest thing the Hoenn region has, but it's far fewer floors than Silphco, and instead of having many randomized warp pads to check on every floor, this department store just has 2 staircases per floor. That means our best hubs to find will be the many cities throughout Hoenn, but until I get Fly, which will require me to find the HM itself and then beat Winona's gym to unlock its use out of battle, traversing between the cities will require diligent routing of every entrance in the game, so that I can chart a course from any one place to any other place. Speaking of gyms, the main reason this challenge is so difficult is precisely because I want to beat them and the entire game. If all I wanted to do was beat the champion, this actually really wouldn't be that bad. I just have one sort of needle in a haystack to find, and then bada bing bada boom, I beat Pokemon Emerald. But all of the gym entrances are what I call one-ways. There's only one door in each gym, meaning there's only one exact random entrance to find somewhere in Hoenn that takes me to said gym. The same is true of the Champions Room and of the room where Steven is in Meteor Falls. Also, speaking of the Champion and Steven, even if I find them early on in this playthrough, I can't defeat them until I do everything else. Part of this is just because I don't want to fight the champion until I defeat all 8 gym leaders and the Elite Four members, but Steven specifically isn't even in that room in Meteor Falls until you beat the champion. He's just not there. So I don't have a choice. Even if I find this room early, I'm gonna have to go back to it later. With all that out of the way though, let's start the run. This run begins like any Pokemon Emerald challenge run does. An absolute hunk tells you what a Pokemon is, and then you ride in the back of a moving truck where all these massive boxes aren't tied down to anything, and you're also just standing in the middle of the van instead of sitting on a chair because your mother and your absentee father love you very much. As we get to the starter selection though, in which I'll obviously be picking Mudkip because let's be honest, there isn't really another choice, there are just a few more things to note here. First of all, on the layout, you'll notice 2 things. There's a key item tracker that'll keep track of my progress throughout the video. As I defeat gym leaders or Elite Four members, they'll light up. The same goes for any of the key items I wind up finding throughout my journey in the Hoenn region, which I may wind up needing depending on what doors wind up being required. Above that is the total remaining entrance number. As I check various doors, staircases, ladders, warp pads, and more, the number will decrease, revealing just how screwed I am when I can't find that last thing I need. The only other thing to mention is that the creators of this randomizer prevented any of the doors in Little Root Town from being shuffled around, presumably so that you can actually get your run going. That means our first randomized door will be due north of Little Root in Oldale Town, but before that, we need to beat our rival on Route 103, which will give us wonderful early access to Pokeballs and move the NPC currently blocking our path west to Petalburg. And so it begins. The other benefit of beating the rival and getting the running shoes and everything is that we get access to Petalburg as well. Okay, that is to Mount Pyre. It is not a vacation, trust me. Okay, that is actually really nice. That's a locked door in the abandoned ship, so that is quite convenient. But that also means I can't go back in. He only looks left and right. Like I said earlier, finding cities is going to be really important since they're huge hubs with lots of doors to check. And in the early game here, I actually found quite a few, but I wind up not checking them so thoroughly and basically just going immediately back to Petalburg and Oldale, because in runs like this, I like to clear out areas that I started from first before moving up the branch into a new big area that has a bunch more branching paths. Now, this plan is somewhat hindered by the fact that I can't access the top left house in Petalburg right now until I somehow progress Norman's gym. I need to get inside the gym to either watch the catch tutorial or battle him after getting 4 badges. Regular ADEF viewers will know that this isn't the first time Norman's gym has completely screwed me over. I get it. Our first gym has been discovered. Absolutely huge. We will come back for that. Okay, I found my first gym in under 20 minutes. That's not so bad. Obviously, my level 6 Mudkip can't take on Brawly by itself, so I'll come back later once I've built my team out a bit with higher level wild Pokemon from other randomized areas I find. But obviously, finding a gym this fast does raise the question, how could this run possibly take that long? Well, one of the big challenges here is charting a course from wherever I am back to one specific door I need to get to. For instance, let's say I'm currently in Rustboro, but I need to get specifically to the right side of Sootopolis because there are some doors over there that I want to check. Presuming I've taken diligent notes on what doors lead where, I just have to rifle through my notes and try to cobble together some kind of route to get there. Maybe one door in Rustboro takes me to Lava Ridge, where a specific door takes me to Oldale Town, where I have to walk to Petalburg to then take a door to Team Aqua Hideout, which then takes me to Sootopolis. That might be the route I wind up taking, but what if a faster, easier route exists? What if instead you take the Rustboro door to Lava Ridge and then walk all the way to Mauville, where a door takes you straight there? This is maybe a less intuitive path and would require me to make a very non-obvious connection in my notes, but there's no denying that it's not only faster, it critically requires fewer steps. Well, optimizing routes through nodes on a graph like this is actually a remarkably difficult problem in mathematics and computer science. In this instance, we're trying to solve basically a shortest path style problem, but a similar problem is known as the traveling salesman problem. It goes like this. Imagine you're a traveling salesman. You have a map of, let's say, 30 cities you need to visit to peddle your wares. You want to visit each city exactly once and then return home. And you're a busy guy and time is money, so what's the absolute shortest route you can take? At face value, this problem doesn't seem that difficult. After all, every time you make your commute to work and back, you're probably doing mental math on a very simple but similar version of this problem. But as the traveling salesman problem grows in complexity, or simply as you increase the number of cities, the problem becomes far, far harder to compute. And that's the key. This problem is computationally difficult. Algorithms do exist to solve versions of the traveling salesman problem, but the computational time and effort it takes to solve applications of this problem, especially as the number of cities grows, far exceeds what you might expect. But even still, this is a very important problem, as it's basically the key behind being able to quickly compute routes for all kinds of things. This problem belongs to a class of problems known as NP. NP stands for non-deterministic polynomial, or for short, non-polynomial. I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but broadly speaking, you can break basically any computation problem into one of two categories, P or NP, polynomial or non-polynomial. You can think of polynomial problems as problems that have an algorithm that can find a solution in a reasonable amount of time, so-called polynomial time. As the complexity of the problem grows, there's a limit on how fast the amount of time to compute can grow. The time to compute NP problems, on the other hand, can grow exponentially with the complexity. It can take so-called non-polynomial time. The traveling salesman problem is one such problem. In fact, it actually belongs to an even slightly more difficult class known as NP hard. I'm not exactly saying that finding the right doors to go through in this run of Pokemon Emerald is an NP hard problem per se, but I just want to demonstrate that from simple weird questions like what's the fastest route from Rustboro to Sootopolis can arise incredibly complex, fascinating problems. Is your computer not working properly? Wait, how'd you know that? I mean, my browser's not working very well, but are you watching me? Well, that's great, because the sponsor of today's video is Opera. What? Opera is an incredible browser with some amazing features. For instance, Opera's sidebar allows you to add your favorite Google services like Google Calendar or Gmail to a sidebar for quick access. So if you're on a call and need to quickly pull up an email, now you can. Should I be afraid right now? Opera's tab islands let you group tabs together for easy access, like grouping together all of the research tabs and script writing tabs for each project. You can also name and color coordinate tabs, which is a new update from Opera. Plus, Opera's tab traces, my personal favorite feature, shows you which tabs you've recently used, allowing easy navigation back to the tabs you need. So if you're 20 tabs deep in a mad hunt for one piece of information and you finally find it, no more looking through every single tab trying to find the place you need to deposit the info. Wait, you have a favorite feature? So you're a real person. Don't forget about Opera's incredible themes. With massive customizability and dynamic themes, you can truly make Opera your own. Take this Orbit theme. Pretty cool, right? Okay, are there cameras in here or something? Are you omniscient? Be sure to use my link in the description and try Opera for yourself today. NP problems have this interesting quirk where it's very computationally hard to find a solution like we've been talking about, but it's actually relatively easy to verify an existing solution. My favorite example of this is a very famous NP problem that you're probably familiar with, Sudoku. As you scale up the size of a Sudoku board from the standard 9 by 9, finding a solution becomes far more computationally taxing. But if you hand me a completed Sudoku board of really any size, I could probably tell you pretty quickly if it's right. There's currently an open problem in mathematics called P equals NP. Basically, if you can prove that NP problems can be solved in P time, or if you can definitively prove the opposite, that it's not possible for any NP problems to be solved in P time, then you'll win yourself a calm, cool $1 million from the Clay Institute of Mathematics, and you'll single-handedly change computer science and data science and mathematics basically forever. Plus, one other neat side effect of this is that if you can find a way to solve any NP problem in P time, it probably means you've also found an algorithm that can solve any NP problem in P time. This basically means that if you find a way to solve really big Sudokus really quickly, then you'll also effectively solve protein folding, which will cure cancer. So maybe get on that. Suffice it to say, not only is it very difficult to find the exact path I need to get from one very specific door in Hoenn to some other specific door on the other side of the region, it's even more difficult to optimize that path and make this run as short as possible. Is this the dead end that goes to the item? Yeah. Psychic, low-key huge. We're just gonna sit here until we catch something, you guys. We're just gonna sit here till we catch something. Hariyama would be awesome. Level 38, let's pull up the catch calc. Level 38 Hariyama is a 28% chance to catch in a Pokeball. Simple 1 in 4. And it's just that easy. I don't know what to tell you. It's just that easy. Hariyama is a very welcome addition to the team and also means I can easily go back and clear Brawly now. Our first gym leader battle. Unfortunately for Brawly, we do have a pretty decent Pokemon comparatively. We are going to fake out open, because why not? Yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And that is our first gym badge. We are 20 minutes in and we have a gym badge. This is huge. This is huge. Not long after beating Brawly, I finally found the Lily Cove department store, which, like I said before, isn't quite as good as Silphco, but it's still pretty nice. I then also found the Team Aqua hideout teleporter room, which is a living nightmare, but we'll clear it as we go along. I also found one of the 3 Reggie rooms, which is a little concerning since it means that the door that leads from this cave room into the room that actually contains the relevant Reggie is an entrance that I need to check. This means that if I can't find the other side of that randomized door somewhere else, and it winds up actually being important, like say if it's attached to a gym leader, then I'll have to open it. If you've ever done the Reggie side quest in Gen 3, then you'll know that this is a really scary proposition that could add literal hours to a door randomizer like this. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. After that Reggie jump scare though, I was given a little gift. Well, we had Lugia. We had Lugia in the other run. Should we have Ho-Oh for this one? We have a 0.83% chance to catch Ho-Oh in an Ultra Ball. Just hit the 1 in 100. I mean, really, how hard could it be? Somewhat difficult, evidently. If it always opens Sunny Day, we get at least 2 tries. This is not gonna go well. We live that. Okay. What about after a fake out? I don't think a tiny amount of chip damage is gonna make much of a difference. I wound up giving this about 10 minutes of attempts, but ultimately decided to just come back later. Until I have a more reliable way to increase my catch chances against Ho-Oh, like with status or a way to damage it without losing my team almost immediately, I can probably just save this. After all, Hariyama can reliably take on probably like 70 to 80% of this game, no problem. It's only once I get into the late game stuff that Ho-Oh would actually be useful. We will come back. Let's go to Rustboro. This is a waste of time. Uh-huh. Surely this will be different. Surely this will be different. Surely this will be different. Imagine, bro. It's obviously crazy that I found Lugia immediately after Ho-Oh, and I still do need some kind of powerful Pokemon later, ideally a legendary for the Elite Four, the Champion, and eventually Steven. But as we saw in my Fire Red video, Lugia, and by extension Ho-Oh, really aren't that great when compared to other box art legendaries. They're still awesome, but again, not worth spending a ton of time trying to catch. But good news, apparently my luck in finding legendary Pokemon back-to-back still wasn't finished. That's Kyogre, which is just better than Ho-Oh or Lugia. I mean, this is probably worth giving a couple of shouts, because this is level 70, I think, as well, in Emerald. This is going to be basically the same catch rate. Bum, ba-dum, dum. Yeah. Now, Kyogre, I was willing to sit around and try to catch for a while. After all, Kyogre is incredible, and I realized that if I damaged it a little bit, it would sometimes go for rest, putting itself to sleep, which would slightly increase my odds to catch. But evidently, I really didn't have to wait around that long. I was speeding up, so I feel stupid, but we got it. Dang it. Oh, man. Okay, we got it. I wish I wasn't speeding up in that moment, but we've got our boy. We've got our main for the rest of the run on lock. We're going to teach him some good moves, and we're cruising, baby. We may as well just teach it something like Secret Power, just to, like, have something that's not double edge. Is Kyogre even good, though? That is a remarkably interesting question, because yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Kyogre is remarkable. Incredible typing, great stats, amazing ability. Okay, so Kyogre is an incredible addition to the team. Mono Water is a phenomenal type, both offensively and defensively, and Kyogre is just a beast. So we're not gonna have any difficulty clearing the rest of the fights in the game. Now, that being said, Kyogre's starting moveset is whack as hell, so when I very soon thereafter found my first Elite Four member in Glacia, I decided to come back later. Hydro Pump is just not gonna do it against her team filled with bulky water types. But only moments later, I found a much more approachable fight. Yo! Let's do it. If all of these warp pads were doors, that would be very bad. But they are not. We also definitely would have found Flannery's gym by now if they were. Do not need to save. We're gonna be fine. Flannery is obviously not very difficult when you have like a 40 level advantage and the type advantage, but a badge is a badge. I'm not complaining. And that is our second gym badge. 2 down, 6 to go. All right, where do we want to go from Rustboro? Into another town, ideally. Let's go to Dewford. Yo! Okay. We can do this. One is slightly more difficult than Flannery for Kyogre, given I don't have great offensive options, but the level gap is still so large and Kyogre's defenses are so good that this really wasn't much of a concerning encounter either. The only possible issue here is Juan's Kingdra, which is any challenge runner's worst enemy in Emerald. This thing has double team and rest and loves to spam setup. One of the worst Pokemon ever. But that is 3 gym badges. Huge. Wait, that's the TM for Water Pulse, right? That's gonna be our staple move now. We'll get rid of Sheer Cold. And we fall down into the basement where all these ladies are hanging out. It's very strange. It's a strange place, but that's okay. We got a gym badge and we're never coming back. We're keeping that. We're definitely keeping that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Water Pulse and Ice Beam? I mean, we're building a monster right now. We found the other side of Glacia. Now with some more moves on my Kyogre, I was willing to go back and do Glacia, and although I still don't have the best moveset on her, Secret Power, which is neutral damage to her entire team, was perfectly sufficient. All right, let's start clearing Mauville. We'd like to hit a Pokemon Center at some point, but that's okay. Let's get Dig. That's nice to have. Dig is an incredibly nice TM to get because it can get me out of softlock situations, and you don't need a badge to use it out of battle like you would with an HM. So again, this is just a nice tool to add to my utility belt. And also, soon thereafter, I found Tate and Liza, which was easy pickings for Kyogre, which is great because usually TNL are a complete nightmare for really any Pokemon Emerald challenge run. But with Kyogre, this was totally fine. Pokemon Center, yes, please. Sure. No third one. We get cut, though. We'll mark this as a Pokemon Center just so that we can find a Pokemon Center easily later. Downstairs of the Weather Institute. Yo! Okay, right in the lobby, we're gonna have this battle. Okay. This gets us Surf as well, I think. That is 5 badges. Now, does that guy come in and bring us to Surf, or no? The door's just unlocked. Okay, it doesn't really work. Okay, but it does kind of work. Okay, we do get Surf. Nice. Beautiful. Having Surf means I can now turn Kyogre from an incredibly good Pokemon into a complete cannon, which is awesome. In case I had any issues clearing any of the other fights, now I definitely won't. Soon thereafter, I also found one of the 3 Reggie rooms, removing one of those hellish things from the pool, but I still haven't found the other 2, and thus began one of many droughts in this run. I'm using sped up footage here to show you what this run typically looks like and what I've mostly cut out from this video. Long stretches of time where I'm traversing the Hoenn region, racking my brain for what entrances I need to check next. I've edited most of this stuff out from the final video to make sure this whole thing is as interesting and cohesive as possible, but of course, if you want to subject yourself to the entire unedited run, that's on my other channel, which is linked in the description. Knock yourself out, and hey, maybe also consider subscribing while you're over there. I've got tons of other challenge runs and full-length stuff over there, so give it a shot. Oh, huge. Okay. Wow. Glad I went through that. Another gym has been discovered. Just 2 more gyms after this. Okay. That is 6 gym badges. It's something. About 10 minutes later, after checking some of truly the most annoying load zones in the game, including some seafloor cavern stuff that just sucks, I eventually found Drake, which typically is a pretty threatening fight, but with Ice Beam Kyogre, this just was not an issue at all. Granite Cave again, but we are gonna use Dig and go back to Slateport. Okay, that's where we'll get Dive, which we can't get yet. Aha! So there you are. I see. I see. In the soda pop house on the beach from Slateport? Okay, well, we know where to beat the game now. That's good. Now, with the Champions Room found, I was quickly decreasing the number of required spots I'd yet to find. But of course, there were still several one-ways remaining in the form of Watson's Gym, Winona's Gym, and Steven's Room in Meteor Falls. I don't have any leads on any of those. Not to mention the 2 Elite Four members I'm still missing. Speaking of... huge. One of our few remaining things we don't know. We have found it. And it's just as easy as clicking surf 5 times. I love Kyogre. 3 of the 4 Elite Four members down. Wow, we haven't been to the first floor yet? That is crazy. Okay, I'm actually going to save here so that I can dig out to Moss Deep if this leads to an outdoor exit. They looped into each other? Are you kidding me? Phoebe's exit went into Sydney's entrance. That is crazy. That is crazy, dude. Wow. All 4 Elite Four members down, and we know where the champion is, so we just need to find Watson's Gym and Winona's Gym, and then we're good. Now there were truly only one-ways left to find, which means I really had my work cut out for me. You'll notice the number of entrances left to check is now in the double digits. This is great because it means I'm getting close to checking everything, but it's also bad because as that number goes down without finding what I need, that starts to increase the chances that what I need is behind some of the truly awful entrances in Emerald that I've been putting off, like those Reggie doors. Please God, let it not be there. There's Steven. Oh, but I can't get out this way, can I? Look at me! Look at me go! Wait, how do I... Hang on. We might be stuck. Try manually using surf? I don't want to dig because... Ugh. Oh, it goes back to Mount Pyre. That's okay. That's not so bad. I've actually seen quite a number of Sootopolis exits. Wait, hang on. In case this gets edited, we gotta get a clean reaction non-sped up. Huge! Totally genuine. Sorry? Because he's outside? Why isn't he here? Is he battleable in Mauville? Could I have battled him this whole time? We already found New Mauville, but the flag is flipped. I might not be able to battle him. We had New Mauville earlier, but I marked it as an X, so I'm not going to be able to find it. We found New Mauville, and we found his gym. I'm just going to count it. I'm just going to count it, and we're all going to deal with that. Because I think the flag is flipped in the wrong direction. I don't want to re-find New Mauville, which I've marked as a do not come here again, which means I have to sort through like all 100 of those. Just to then get there, fix it, and then come back and I still can't battle him. I'm good. I have dealt with Pokemon Emerald flag nonsense in the past, and it is always bad. Well, let's hope Winona's gym isn't behind Rock Smash. That would be really bad. Okay, well, let's keep going. This is the second time that something has come up in this video about gym leader flag nonsense being weird, so I'm just going to explain what happened last time. I made a video last year in which I needed Norman's gym to be open and accessible early based on the way that I was making the video, and it turns out that there's a weird flag that requires Norman's gym to behave in a very specific way, requiring you to do a series of story flags in very specific ways. This is pretty atypical for Pokemon Emerald. The way it handles flags is usually pretty binary, but this one required a lot of specific stuff. And this is pretty bad for challenge runs where I'm trying to go all over the place randomly for pretty obvious reasons. This is why I'm deciding to just walk away from Watson here. I found his gym, and I hope I've demonstrated by now with Kyogre that really no fight in this game stands a chance against me, and Watson's team I have a 50 level advantage on, so I don't think I would lose. I found his gym, I also found New Mauville, and I found him. I just don't think it's going to be easy. It might even be impossible based on the flag structure to put him back in the gym. So we're all just going to accept that I could have gotten this gym badge very easily, and that basically I did. Capiche? Okay, back to the video. And so thus began the wild goose chase for the last remaining one-way I need to find, Winona's gym. Just like in the Fire Red video, I knew there would be at least one really difficult entrance to find, but you never know which one it's gonna be. I did find Rock Smash during this hunt for Winona, which is pretty funny because again, I can't use it because I don't technically have the Dynamo badge. And it's a truly sick joke that it wound up being Winona that I need to find last, since Winona's badge unlocks the use of fly in the overworld. And oh my god, dude, it would have been so unbelievably nice to fly during this entire last segment. I checked some truly awful stuff like the door behind the Wind Straight battles, and it would have just been so nice to be able to fly to the next town I needed to check a weird door in, or at least fly nearby to the area that contained the next bad thing I wanted to check. But nope, I got to walk over to everything instead. At least I was diligent throughout this process with marking which doors led where, so I could chart a course to each remaining door. Dude, how? How are we not... How are we not done? This is crazy, dude. Oh, thank God, dude. Oh, thank God. Okay. It wasn't behind Strength or Rock Smash. Thank God. We got so lucky, guys. I mean, but in a sense, we didn't. There are only 15 unchecked loads in the entire game. I checked like 300 entrances, bro. I mean, that's part of the problem, right? Is that the gym leaders are one entrance. There is only one door in and out of gyms. So they're, by definition, much more difficult to find than any place that has two exits like Elite Four battles. Okay, that is our last gym badge, and we can now go beat the game. There are only 15 doors left, and many of them I cannot access. That's an important part of this puzzle to understand. Many of them I cannot do. Okay, we need to get to Slateport, which we can do via the Moss Deep chain again. Okay, Moss Deep. This takes me to Verdant Turf. Then we go to the department store. And I think this gets me to Slateport. Yes, 5th floor left exit. 5th floor. Left side. Slateport. I'd like to heal, but you know what? We just don't have that luxury. We can max elixir and just go. Because this, my friends, is where the champion is. Now, my team is not supremely equipped to handle this fight. Kyogre, not the best Pokemon for this. But conversely, they're not very good on me. You know? Can I learn, like, Facade or something? Yes. It might just be a Facade or a Shadow Ball bulk-up angle. Or we could just Calm Mind Sweep. Let's just do that. Let's just Calm Mind Sweep. We could go pick up Groudon. Yeah, there are other options, right? But this should absolutely be winnable. With level 70-something Kyogre, at the very least, you could just bulk up Facade and clear. But Calm Mind should be fine. We can Calm Mind 6 times on Wailord very, very easily. We could even put the Mystic Water on, but I don't think we're going to need it. All right, let's set up. Okay, that's +6. And +6 special defense, which is obviously also good. Surely Surf is just incredibly good now. Especially the Rain also. Like, even though this isn't very effective, The only thing I'm really worried about is my Lodic. We have Ice Beam for you. Not the Leech Seed! Should do a lot. I'd be pretty surprised if, like, maybe my Lodic. No, there's no way anything on this team lives a +6 Surf in the Rain. There's just no way. Yeah, there's just no way. I'm level 75, bro. And my special attack stat is 1 billion. I love that the 2 pixels for Whiscash's eyes are like just barely off center. So he's like very clearly looking in 2 directions. All right. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. We have done it. We have defeated the champion. Huge. All 8 badges, all 4 Elite Four members, and the champion. It took almost the exact same amount of time as Fire Red, actually, which is interesting. All 8 gym badges with asterisks specifically because of Watson. Okay, where was Steven? Does anybody remember? He was in the seafloor cavern, which we have to get to from Mirage Tower 2nd floor, which we get to from Mauville. Okay, let's go catch Talo. Or... No, we'll catch Wingle. I was gonna say we could just surf to Mauville from here. Now that I finally have access to fly out of battle 3 hours into this run, yippee hooray. Kind of my fault for not catching a flying type, but that's beside the point. I can now easily fly to the start of the chain of doors that I believe will lead me back to Steven. We go to Mirage Tower 2nd floor. And then we go through here. And then here. And then save. And this should be Steven. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is it. The final battle of the video against Pokemon Emerald Super Boss, Steven. I think a lot of people don't even know that this fight exists, but it's an incredible Super Boss fight where after you beat the champion and the main story of Pokemon Emerald, Steven moves here to Meteor Falls and you can battle his level 70 plus team. This team includes some real monsters like Metagross and my absolute favorite Pokemon and the literal goat, I will not be taking questions, Aggron. Luckily, my Kyogre has a particularly positive matchup against Steven's team, meaning I'm really not worried. Let's pop the Mystic Water on. And let's Candy up. All right, we got the Mystic Water on, we got the Drizzle out, we got the Calm Mind. We rare candied to 78. We're in good shape. Honestly, 4 Calm Minds is probably even going to be overkill, but we will do it. A lot of his team is weak or neutral to water, so we're fine. The Toxic Miss, let's not press our luck. Let's just surf. My favorite Pokemon. I'm sorry that I have to do this. Yes, it is raining inside of this cave right now. Don't question it. Don't even think about it. It's just how it is. Leaking. Yeah, the cave just has a leak in the ceiling. Is that really so surprising? Some caves do actually have rain. Please elaborate. Okay, so I'm not a meteorologist, I'm not a geologist, and I'm not a caveologist, but it appears that this Twitch chatter was not lying. It can kind of rain in some caves. Let's go over first the like stuff that's sort of rain, but not really. If water seeps through the ground from above and drips onto the cave floor from above, that can definitely seem like rain, but it's not like strictly speaking rain. Also, water can condense on the roof of the cave and then drip down over time, or in heavy downpours. That's kind of like rain. But apparently there are some large cave systems when very humid and with certain pressures and everything. Storm cells can kind of develop, like clouds can develop that have water stored in them and precipitate. Kind of crazy. Also, rain can literally just blow in from the entrance of a cave. I don't know if you'd count that, but I guess it's technically raining. Anyway, pretty neat. Back to the video. This is what would happen if Rayquaza didn't stop Kyogre. Lore accurate Kyogre on screen right now. Ooh, also the light from my window is passing across the camera lens for this cinematic finish. So I'm becoming ghostly. Perfect timing by the sun. They're trying to fight Kyogre. This is also lore accurate, just in, you know, IRL. But that is it. Time. Not only did we beat all 8 gyms and all 4 Elite Four members and the champion, but we also found the solo exit to Steven, the super boss of Pokemon Emerald. I mean, that's a success to me. That's a success in my mind. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing. What you see on screen right now are my top tier patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of them. Link is in the description if you want to support the show. Now, to everybody who enjoys the Elite Four and Victory Road style videos that I do, don't worry, I'm hard at work on Unova, but if you enjoyed this video or my Fire Red map randomizer video, I happen to know of a door randomizer that combines 3 different regions into one. If that's something you'd like me to make a video on, it would be a much longer video and much more difficult challenge, then consider subscribing and let me know in the comments. If there's enough excitement for it, I'll definitely do it. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.